The Killer was directed by David Fincher and is going to be on Netflix later in November, but it's in theaters now, and if you can go check it out, then you have an option to do so. In this movie, we get the long-awaited return of Michael Fassbender in a film, as he plays an assassin who is very meticulously trained, and he does everything according to a system. Everything is so well thought out and planned that there can't be any mistakes. But when a mistake does happen, things become very unexpected, and now he's facing stuff that he's never really thought he'd have to before, and now we have our movie. David Fincher doesn't need any introduction at this point. He's one of the greatest directors that we have, and he's made enough movies at this point that have been loved by audiences and critics alike that he does show up a lot whenever you talk about some of the best movies ever made. If you look up some of his best movies, you'll see some of those recognizable names. Stuff like Seven or Fight Club, Zodiac, Social Network. Gone Girl is a recent modern, classic for some people. And Michael Fassbender is also a really great actor, but it's been a long time since I've seen Michael Fassbender in anything. The last time I saw him was 4 years ago in Dark Phoenix. And I thought there was a moment of time there where a lot of his movies just were not working for me. There was a huge period of time where I was genuinely thinking that this is a great actor who's not in the best of movies. I wonder when that comeback is going to happen. And so I'm pleased to report, cutting right to the chase, The Killer is that comeback. He's awesome in this movie. It's so great to see him in a role once again, and he does an outstanding job over here playing The Killer. He doesn't have a name, at least he doesn't have a specific name. He keeps going around with all kinds of aliases and has passports ready for basically every single part of the world, and wherever this mission is taking him and wherever the consequences of certain things are taking him, there's always a different name. And as a result of that, the film manages to play around a lot with how things work out when he is in different, scenarios and settings. The film also, as a result, works as a very interesting deconstruction of what you normally get from like a thriller of this sort. Fincher is no, stranger to making big thrillers like this. He's done it before, but this is at the same time very subdued, and it almost critiques what you may have seen in other thrillers like this, especially when it comes to calculated people and assassins. And the fact that not every single thing that can happen in moments like this is going to be 100% effective. And the film almost calls that out consistently, and some darkly funny ways too. I was surprised by how much humor was in this movie. There's moments where he will say something or he does something extremely random, like at one point of time he just uses Prime to just order stuff, which is it's so weirdly placed in the movie that you can't be, you can't help but laugh at it. And I'm not gonna say too much more about that, but that's a thing in the movie. And Fincher directs it, of course, incredibly well. There's the opening stuff which is going on, which is so well done, and you're invested in the movie instantly. It felt like a throwback to films that he's done before, but then again, it was also sort of critiquing stuff that he'd done before. But it was also critiquing the genre as a general. It's a very interesting film in that respect. But at the end of the day, it does come down to this story and, how this story manages to land it. Does it work on its own without having that genre critique? Of course it does. And that's just because Fincher knows how to make a damn good movie. And it's also written really well, which really does have to be praised. The script is so tightly paced and so well written. And the editing, once again, Kirk Baxter, who has worked with Fincher on pretty much everything. He is fantastic over here once again when it comes to his editing skills. Manages to make such a tightly done film. And it really does have to be commended. The score by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, two of the best composers, among the best composers that we have. Once again, fantastic score from them and riveting stuff. I can't wait to listen to this thing on loop once it's released. It's honestly a film that does pretty much everything that you wanted it to do in the best way possible. I would say I have one minor gripe with it, which is there's a couple of things that I feel like they somewhat set up as an intriguing thing, and we do get something in terms of like a background, which is like, okay, we just want to let you know this is how this works, maybe, and that's about it. And I just thought that was interesting because there is some kind of a system to it which seems to be much greater than what is already known. I don't think they're gonna do a sequel to this. I don't think this is a franchise. But I did think that there were a couple of things that could have been a little more touched upon. But beyond that, I mean, the more that I think about The Killer, I'm just really happy that this movie exists, and I'm so glad that it is in theaters, because it was great watching this with a pretty big crowd, lots of laughs to be had. But also, one thing I want to say is the action in this movie, when it's there, it's really great. There's a fist fight that happens inside a house. One of the best fist fight sequences I've seen in a long time. There's something that's being done, especially with the camera. It's very shaky cam, but it's not shaky cam like you can't figure out anything. It's like vibrations are going on the screen, and it's almost like you're feeling every hit, every impact that's there. And I loved that. It was such an immersive thing to do. The sound design in that scene was great. The way it was shot was phenomenal. The stunt work that's there is brutal. That was a brilliant scene. It's the showstopper scene of the movie in many, many ways. So I do, like, I'll leave it at that. Like, you guys go watch the film and you'll see for yourself exactly what that scene is. Overall, I absolutely loved The Killer. I can't wait to see it again. I can't wait for you guys to check it out. It's another really great film from David Fincher. It's great to have Michael Fassbender back once again, and I'm just glad. And this is genuinely one of the better films I've seen this year. And I'm gonna give The Killer a 9.5 out of 10. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Look forward to more videos very soon. Spider-Man 2, it's coming this weekend. Can't wait to talk to you guys about that game a little bit. I've talked enough on social media and hinted at certain things, but more in details coming soon. As always, if you like this, guys, please do subscribe. Thank you very much once again, and I'll see you guys at the movies.